Let me ask you this, because I'm sure you heard a lot of the criticism that Luka Doncic had to hear, whether it's from, Charles Barkley or Kendrick Perkins or my buddy Brian Windhorst. Did you think it was over the top like Jason Kidd alluded to? Or did you think that this is what is required for a guy who's made all these NBA first teams, who we think could be in the conversation for best player in the world? Where did you sit on how heavy the criticism was? Or did you think it was all fair, all in bounds?
We can't say that you could be the best player in the world if you don't play one side of the basketball. Like I was a two-way player. My favorite players are two-way players. College, it's Hannah Hidalgo, who leads the country in steals. It was Kevin Garnett for a while. That was my favorite player because of the way he defended and played defense. If you're on the court as much as Luka Doncic is, and you only play one side of the basketball, you are a liability. I don't care which way you say it, guys. I don't care if you score 30, 40, 50. You still are a liability. If you scored 40, but you gave up 39, what are we talking about? And that's me being nice, because sometimes he scored 33 and giving up 50 if we really want to talk about it. So I feel like the criticism was warranted. And I felt like the criticism came from people who understand what it takes to win on that level from what they've seen, right? From what they've seen. I always think it's so easy to use Kobe Bryant as an example, right? Because of Mamba mentality. But it's the reason why we brand Mamba mentality. Because it doesn't take a break. It doesn't take a playoff. It doesn't take a day off. And so I felt like the criticism for Luka was like, you take plays off and your team gets burned for it. You fouled out in game 3. Team got burned for it, right? And so I think it was totally fair, especially because some of us think that he is the best player in the world. Like with great skill comes great responsibility. The responsibility is to play.
Okay.
Hey, you feel me? Look. And like he needed to play defense. So I felt like the criticism was valid. I was on the criticism train. I had over here game 3 notes. PJ Washington didn't score, barely. 17-2 run in the fourth quarter for Celtics. Last note, Luka needs to play defense. It was that. Like, that needed to be the adjustment in order for them to have a chance to win this game. He plays too many minutes. He's too valuable to not care. And what makes me mad, actually, after watching this is like, he's capable of it. He's capable of playing both sides of the basketball and having pride in it. It's just whenever he chooses to or feels like it or is healthy or has the cardio to do it. And I'm sorry, but like, again, everybody's tired. Everybody is grueling. Everybody is going through an injury right now, but not everybody's in the NBA Finals. Like, push through. So I think the criticism was warranted. And I think like a superstar and someone who we would say is the best player in the world, he responded. The response is more important than the criticism that came before.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah, tell me. What do you think?
I think it depends on who's saying it and how they're saying it, right? Do I think the criticism was warranted? Absolutely, because he cost them that game. Like, Kyrie was on. Like, they needed him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, one of the worst feelings in the world, and I can say this from playing high school, pick up all this other stuff, is when your teammate says to you, hey, man, we need you. You know what I mean? Like, when someone says that to you, they're saying you're not doing your job. Like, you're not doing what we actually count on you to do for this stretch of the game. And I felt like Kyrie was killing it. He was in his rhythm. He didn't play a perfect game, but Kyrie had done his job to get those guys into it. A few of those guys started making shots. Lively started to get going a little bit. You know what I mean? PJ Washington hit a few shots at the right time during that 20-2 run. And when your guy is not playing defense, not getting back on defense, and just arguing with the refs and fussing, I think he's going through something. I think he was very distracted by things going on outside the floor in game 3. We may not be able to discuss them, but I definitely think he was distracted. But that don't mean that you still ain't got to show up and play. Like, he needed to show up and play. And I think it was a appropriate response tonight, right?
Yeah, yes. And also, like, when your leader is distracted, the whole team is distracted. You know, so I think also, too, like him as a leader, as the main scorer of this team, the engine offensively, right, getting other guys and making them better, feeding his teammates. Like, with that, if you're distracted, then we as a team that's following you is going to be distracted. And I think we saw that. So I completely agree. And I just, again, like, really like his response. I think his response is that of somebody who is trying to be the best player in the world.